Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Driven Wyld. Today we are talking about, is driving for DoorDash like a hostage situation? So in a recent live stream with my co-host Budsoda, we ended up going over a video talking a little bit about how DoorDash can feel like a hostage situation. And I don't know if I 100% agree with that, but I do want to discuss that in this video. So with that said, we are presenting a clip from the Gone Wild live stream with Budsoda. What she was saying, some of the things that we were discussing with our live stream chat versus how it actually is, and everything in between. But before we do that, let's go over a quick disclaimer. The content of this video does not contain, is never intended to be, legal, business, financial, tax, or health advice of any kind. This video is for entertainment purposes only. It is advised that you conduct your own research and consult qualified professionals before applying anything you find online. I also want to be clear that everything that we're going to be going over is very market to market and case by case. What applies to me in my market or Budsoda's market or any of the markets brought up in the Gone Wild live stream may not apply to you. Also, little heads up, I am trying out a different software right now for editing my videos, so make sure that you guys let me know if you like it or not. And with that said, enjoy the clip.
Driving for DoorDash feels like a hostage situation because they'll be like, you need to accept this order in 10 seconds or I swear to God. And I'm like, okay, I'll take it. And they're like, okay, now drive from Illinois to Kentucky to pick up this Panda Express and deliver it in Nebraska. And I'm like, okay, cool. What is that, like $10? And they're like, no, most we can do is $3. And if you don't accept this order, we'll never give you work again.
I hate that there are so many gig workers with that indoctrinated in their mind. Like they genuinely believe that. Like they genuinely believe that if they don't get a higher acceptance rate, they're never going to get work again. There are people with 20% acceptance rate that are getting banger orders that are with 10%, 0. I've been at 0 with Uber for a long time. I'm still getting solid orders from them. I hate that these companies have indoctrinated, have marketed that so hard, unspokenly said that for so long, because they'll always say, oh, we don't do that, and they don't, but they do throttle you enough to make you start to think, oh, maybe I should start to take more orders rather than good orders.
Yeah, there should be no reason you're accepting a $3 order, and that's just facts. It's just crazy to me that people will do that. I don't understand. For the longest time, even when I was a kid, $5 was considered gas money. At least raise your standard to that. Come on, guys. Everyone's like, oh, they'll shadow ban you temporarily or whatever because they're not accepting. You're declining more than 3 orders or 5 orders or whatever the BS is in a row. Well, this is why we multi-app. This is why we pre-schedule. This is why, we do better things. I think it's just ridiculous to do $3 orders in any sort.
I do believe that momentum does have a place in gig work, especially on DoorDash and Uber. Have you ever noticed that? Like when when you're accepting orders, they'll keep sending you more orders. But when you're like declining over and over again, those throttles start to get a little harder. So just gaining a level of momentum does help. That doesn't mean you take bad orders to do that. And that's just what ends up happening. So that's why I say multi-apping is important. If you do have momentum on another app, don't be so quick to turn on others. When I was an active DoorDash driver, I would finish an order, count backwards from 10. Then I would start to turn on other apps, because what would end up happening is I would complete an order, then they bang, give me another good order. And then sometimes they would do that again, bang, get another good order. Bang, get another good order. Bang, get another good order. It was just rapid succession of good orders. That's not always the case, but that's what ends up happening.
Oh, yeah.
You do remember my video on that. Cool. I didn't know I can make this accent, and I don't even think it's the right accent, but I have the accent now. The metrics need to go. I think you should have metrics based on things you can actually control that make sense, like completion rate. That should be a metric. That, in my opinion, that actually should be a metric. You should know how well you are completing orders. That should absolutely be the case. Now, acceptance rate is beyond your control. in the sense that you don't know if you're getting good orders, and that's not something you should be rated on. Customer rating, that's based on opinion, and in practice, it just doesn't make sense because you get rated on things, again, you can't control. That's not something you should have. On-time rate, that is something that in a lot of cases you do have control over. I don't like how DoorDash is implementing that, because the way they're currently implementing it, it's so sensitive to the point to where somebody else could have had it. They unassigned, you get the order, you do the order to the best of your ability, or there was a holdup that was beyond your control because of the restaurant, and you get dinged for it. That's not something you should be rated on, or at least not to that sensitive degree. But if you're going straight to the customer from the point in which you have received the order, that's something you should be rated on. But that's not something that they're actually rating people on. What's the other one that I liked? Let me double check before I go talking out my ass. Violations. They should notify you when a violation occurs. It's just, unfortunately, the customer base sucks. Schedule commitment. I don't know if I like that one. I do believe a scheduling system does have a place in the gig economy, in the sense that people who are committing a block of time should have a certain level of priority. But it's things like that should give you priority. Not because, oh, you're accepting more orders, you're doing things to that effect. No, you said you were going to be here and you committed to that. You committed to a time, and somebody just decided to walk in unprepared, willy-nilly. They shouldn't have like a leg up on anybody else. They should just be, hey, you'll get orders when the people who are meant to be here, who committed their time, they blocked out time in their day to do this. They should have priority. Not the people who just say dash now or I'm available, send me orders, should have priority or the same level of priority.
I guess it used to be in DoorDash's base algorithm that scheduled drivers would often get better orders or first priority to orders.
I think they still do.
Supposedly that's still the case, but I really don't know, to be honest. I know Grubhub has blocks where you are first to get offers if you're on block versus off.
Uber is the most flexible, but is also the odd one out in that regard, because it is 100% proximity based, and it's 100% just go online.
Sorry, Tim.
Gigwise, thank you for joining us. Oh, yeah. you Gigwise, you don't understand. You've been up since 3 a.m. I'm not yawning. He's been up since 10 minutes ago. No joke.
I fell asleep. I got home. Actually, I had some yard work and stuff to do. I guess I was playing a dangerous game when it was an hour and a half before live that I decided to take a nap.
I'm platinum on DD. They throttle me because my AR is low. I don't know if they throttle you in that way, because I know that there's a lot of people that I've noticed anyway. We reacted to it in the last week's live to where somebody said, hey, they went from Platinum Dasher getting orders all the time, but they're being kind of shitty about it, to I'm like at 20%. I'm getting much better orders. They're still giving me better orders because I'm like at 20% or something like that. So I do think that it's dependent on market. It depends on the system overall. It might be your area though, too. Your area might require you to have that. I don't know if that's always the case though. Hey, bud, good to see you both live as well. Yeah, you died. But that was the conclusion everybody was coming to. No yawning. I'm not yawning. That was a group yawn. Yes, they do. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. Also got a large catering order today for $9.98. Sounds like a Polio Tropical order on DeliverThat. I work my area every day. I know. I worked my area every day for as long as I was on DoorDash, and that was the case for me. I don't know about if it would be the case for you.
I've worked Syracuse, and it's very dependent on certain factors. They'll try to drag you toward downtown in the mall. I know that. It was a Five Guys order.
I don't even think you guys have Pollo Tropical up there. I was making a joke because in my area, DeliverThat, I keep seeing like literal $7 catering orders they want us to schedule out during peak times. And I'm like, no. Chevy 5-speed.
Hey,
Thanks for joining us.
So my question is, do they even at least get bumped to $15, $20 by the time someone takes them, or they just sit there for?
Dude, I'm not even kidding. Everyone, like, I really don't think that they do. Like, at some point, I think that they're just like,
Whatever.
yeah. I know that some apps still like boost up the pay. I think a lot of times they don't do that anymore. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just sitting there waiting for it to happen. And I'm like,
Yeah.
nope.
Even before I left Pittsburgh, like they started to change on delivered. Like when they'd ask me to go grab an order that was running late that someone else ditched, and it just pay whatever it paid. Like I had one that paid 20. I'm like, usually they pay like 30, 35 for you to go get something that's late, and it's like, nope, it just paid 20. So I'm like, I went out of my way and rushed over there and got chewed out for $20.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
I get like at least it's 20, but it's like I can't imagine it being $7 or $10, and then you're taking on the brunt of this order's already late and the people are pissed at you for $7 to $10. No, man, that sucks.
I serve DD on a shtick. That's why I'm giving you crap about it, Lisa. That's my job.
He's just teasing.
Danny's Delivery, I think they sit at $7. They basically sit at $7. Let me know in the comments if you also if you guys see that on DeliverThat too, like if you see it jump up at all, because I just don't anymore. Then I go do DoorDash or something. Yeah, pretty much. Like if I'm gonna see a $7 order, I might as well just do Uber or freaking Walmart Spark.
Yeah, I can get a shop for better pay.
Yep. I don't take it. I put it in my trash on Discord. Okay, fine. You want to go trash me on your Discord? I thought we had a bond or something.
Not that way, Joe. But no, I can't believe there's like that pathetically low. Like at least the on-demand will keep climbing. It seems the catering ones don't these days.
I promised the person who's been showing me this that I wouldn't show screenshots. DoorDash has been testing this pilot for basically bringing back the original DoorDash drive to where they're doing scheduled catering orders, and she's involved in the pilot. Basically, she won't do breakfast runs anymore because they're like $10, and why would they schedule something out for $10? That makes no sense.
Yeah, most catering apps will pay $20 for easy cater ones, but anything that's direct partnership, I know DoorDash got a new direct partnership, are just trash.
Yeah, Cater Nation or something like that.
With all these different catering apps, why would you pick DoorDash? Just saying. DoorDash, they call it the rescue app for a reason.
Yeah, pretty much. I've done 2 DT orders in the past 6 months. They were rescue orders. They even called me to do the last one. How crazy is it that they need to call people to do orders now? And not to mention with their new system, I basically almost can't even get decent orders on this platform anymore. Like even the exclusives are kind of to me, with incentives, of course. Weren't you just saying that they weren't giving you incentives for rescues anymore, bud?
Yeah, delivered. He's talking about DeliverThat, but these apps in general don't seem to I've had the other apps try to as well, and I don't get any incentive for going to rescue one.
That's my point. It gets pushed to DD at that point. They would lose less money just sending it to DT rather than just giving it to their own driver. They said I was the closest driver. I was 22 minutes away and dropping off an $1,800 order on delivered. That makes way too much sense. Away. I've gotten incentives.
I mean, I've been told that too, though. Like, the dispatch gets a hold of me and says there's not even dashers over there, which doesn't make sense to me. But they said, you're the closest driver right now that's available. Okay, I'll go, I guess.
I don't think I would ever experience that where I am from, but I definitely know I would experience that in like a rural area. That might actually be the thing there. In my area, it's very urban slash suburban here. Like condos upwards, surrounded by other buildings. Like you're not getting that nature-esque area until you start making your way north. Then you start to get into the areas that are more spacious, like it takes 10 miles just to get to some place or something like that. Then it's going to be like, okay, now I understand why there's going to be less drivers in that area as opposed to where I live, where it's shopping center, shopping center, shopping center, like medical area, shopping center, across the street, shopping center, apartment complex, shopping center, and behind all those are more residential areas, only to lead to more shopping centers and trains. That area is going to be a lot more active with gig workers than an area.
It's mostly industrial or residential.
That's more rural suburban than urban suburban.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if it's more of a commercial district versus an industrial residential, I get that because like I think the one I'm thinking about, like it was a Bob Evans that's kind of out of the way, and there's maybe one other major chain near it. So it's like I get that maybe in that case that I was one of the few that was near it. There wasn't a major grocery store near it. So like you're saying, the shopping centers that have restaurants and grocery stores are going to have a lot more dashers at it than this random chain place that's out of the way. Might be why that Bob Evans actually does good, because they're one of the few places out there versus in a more congested area, because as a chain they've obviously struggled.
By the way, make sure you join us for the Driven Wyld live stream, and you could be part of the conversation too. We're looking forward to seeing you there.
Driven was the only way for us. Take it back, no looking back.